Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
I want to get into the staff stuff first. Most of it happened at the end of the show, and it really started with JD being called in about this Chicago trip these guys are taking. And then Ronnie came in, and then Ronnie had to deal with Sal and the Zero. And Gary, you're expert at dealing with Sal when it comes to holding stuff over your head, you know, him going behind your back, doing this and that. How do you think Ronnie handled it, particularly when he said he had the eyes in the back of his head as Sal was holding a sign right behind him and he didn't see it?
Well, Ronnie handled it better than me than when he saw what was going on. First of all, Sal was holding a 0, and I joked around when I came out, it looked like 00 because his hand was shaking like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, his shakes, I think, have gotten worse.
Yeah, they've gotten really bad. But it's one of those fucked up things where Ronnie's like, listen, I'm well aware of what's going on behind me while Sal had to have the 0 up there for at least a minute.
Yeah.
And it seemed like an hour.
Sal had enough time where everyone in the office gathered around to look at a monitor for no matter where they sit just to see what was going on in there. But I know Ronnie loves to go along with the joke and be a part of the joke, and he's a great sport, but anytime you say nothing's really bothering you and you end up yelling and screaming and talking about it for a very long time, clearly the 0 is bothering him.
Absolutely, and again, it's a ridiculousness. He couldn't possibly be a 0. Like, if he's a 0, what is the Elephant Man? Seriously.
Like a 2?
Well, you know what's crazy? What I found out yesterday? Someone said, like, during one of the breaks, they rounded up to a 0, but which is like, it's like you can't get below a 0, but which is crazy. I don't know if because they don't want you to feel bad. Like, that's like,
they don't want anyone to have a negative number.
Yeah, so
it's like the
we'll
wind
leave you a 0. Like, don't worry about it. You know.
But it's meaningless. I quite honestly, as tough as Ronnie's taking it, I think the person we really ought to be talking about is Lieberman.
Oh my God!
And Ronnie and Lieberman were in the hallway for quite a bit of time, but. You know, Shuley interviewed me for the news, and he made a very good point. Lieberman broke the rookie rule.
Yeah.
He let us all know it bothers him a lot.
You can never show fear, pain, anything. I mean, people
no emotion shown on the show ever.
Absolutely not. And then he's also tried to embrace it and laugh it off, but then saying he doesn't take stills well. It's like, come on, John.
It's historically known I don't still photograph well.
Historically known.
And you guys are getting a glimpse of, like, we're in the newsroom there. I mean, the fact they don't have a camera in that newsroom, they are missing nuttiness 24 hours a day. He's back there yesterday. I mean, it was almost as if he was channeling Lisa G. He was blurting things out on his own without being talked to. He was out of his mind. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah, clearly it's under his skin, and that they're going to play that news intro every time he walks in. I love the echo too with the 18 and ugly going back and forth. It's frustrating. You're trying to focus, and it's impossible.
Gary had the best thing yesterday. Gary walks into the newsroom to say hi, and Lieberman sitting in the back. Gary goes, "Hey, ugly, what's going on?"
Now, with JD out on the road with these guys for the block party, Howard made a comment about how JD sounded a lot more confident today when he came in. I do think that 52 score did help his self-esteem, and he was kind of, flying off of that.
But how long will it last?
I think it's already back down, because when Ronnie came in to talk about setting him up in Chicago, JD all of a sudden was flustered again. And I wonder if JD feels pressure from it, if, Ronnie's mentoring will continue with him. What do you if you had to speculate, what do you think is going to happen?
I think JD will be back to being JD in no time at all. Again, Shuley and I were talking. When it comes to JD and women, I can't. One of two things is going on. I can't figure out what it is. Either JD is lazy or he's arrogant. Because we were saying he would like the hottest whore in the world to come to him and not charge him.
He's always been accused of having very high standards.
But also, not only having high standards, but really wanting to put in the minimum amount of work. Meaning, they should see I'm JD, and I shouldn't have to schmooze. I shouldn't have to go with the uncomfortableness of getting them back to my room. I should just be able to fuck them.
I think he's more scared of being rejected.
No, I get that. But you realize that you have to put some amount of work in.
Yeah, but I think it's the rejection that really, really, really gets to him more than anything.
Can you be arrogant when you're inept socially? When you have no desire to go out, when you have no desire to talk to people because you have no confidence in yourself, can you be arrogant?
Yeah, I don't think he's arrogant, although I've seen plenty of people who aren't good looking and aren't socially there think that they deserve, they deserve all these great things.
DJ in Philly, you're on the wrap-up show.
I'm just calling to talk about the Benji Vortex.
Uh-huh.
I I don't know. I pride myself on trying to be a positive person. I'm kind of mortified that I'm calling you with a negative comment, but I just don't understand how Benji really thinks people are going to believe that he did not know that he was embarrassing himself and the show and Howard with the Donald Sutherland.
Oh, I didn't. I thought, I thought it was a good moment. I believe you, but it's
Asking
like
if his kid's dead is a perfectly normal question.
I thought it was, if you listen to I don't know, he was on for about 5 minutes, and I had like 15% of it. I thought it was with a better 15%, but I clearly could be wrong. So
yeah, I thought, not to get too into it, but I thought when you did get the story yesterday, it wasn't that you didn't understand. I thought you were going for a bit, and that's okay because you do that a lot at a lot of times. I thought you were going for a bit with him. I thought you really fully did understand the story.
No, I didn't at the moment, and when I said the Will's brother thing, I was just trying to be
right.
That was trying to be funny. When he said the story, I got a little lost in it, but I thought it was good, but it's cool. What's your name again?
And one of the things that
DJ?
Gary and I like about Benji
I wanna
being
talk
in
to
here
DJ.
is that, well, I'm talking, is that sometimes Benji will take you down a path, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it misses, but that makes him, I think that makes him interesting on this show.
I mean, you can't see everything. Sometimes, and not to be a dick, I'll put my hand up to Benji, meaning we probably shouldn't go there now. And it's a thing, like, does that piss you off when I do that? So be honest.
I didn't know. I thought you were just checking out your fingernails. I just found out.
No, but sometimes sometimes I'll put my hand up to Benji because Benji wants to talk, and
yeah, of course I don't. I don't like that, but I totally understand it. You guys are, this is your steering the ship kind of thing.
I mean, sometimes I'll do that, and I need to do that to myself. John does a great job of it. Like, someone will be sitting there digging a hole, usually JD, and I have to remember not to talk. To just let JD talk, and that's why I put up my hands up.
And by the way, everyone in here has mastered that with Sal, and I appreciate that. You just let Sal do his thing, and even though I'm saying this on the air, he'll still do it, so it's not really an issue. We now have John Lieberman sitting here with us, who's taking a bunch of ball busting, but frankly, John, I think you're bringing it upon yourself here a little bit. Have you been able to reflect on what being an 18 really means?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've learned a lot in the past 24 hours. I would say I am a very excitable guy. Like, I just get excited easily, as Shuli can attest to in the newsroom when certain things happen. And so I'm not good at masking. So, yeah, when you get an 18, it did piss me off in the beginning. And it sort of stuck with me knowing that, and then the song today, knowing that is now how I'm labeled, which is exactly, and that was the mistake I made yesterday, was saying, this is how I'm going to be labeled, and now I am labeled as that.
18 and still ugly.
Yeah. Do you sit there and dream that you hear John Lieberman has a big penis? Now, do you think that everyone on the show treats you equally, or do you think there are other people who don't like you?
Well, I'm sure there's people that don't like me. I mean, I think Robin's been a little bit cold toward me in a couple interactions, and maybe it was my fault. I remember one of the first days I was here, I tried to make a little bit of small talk with her in the hallway about Baltimore because we're both from there, or she worked there, and somebody wanted me to say hi to her from Baltimore, and she kind of blew me off. Then she made a comment in studio that I look like Chris Christie, which that pisses me.
That's worse than the 18, to be honest with you.
But let's be fair, that's back when Robin was emasculating people. She's not really doing that anymore.
Right, but then today picking JD over me, I mean, and I like JD.
Without even thinking about it.
Thank you, Ronnie.
So do you think she has it in for you?
I don't think she has it in for me. I just think for whatever reason I might rub her the wrong way or whatever.
Some people
which
have
is
said,
fine.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, John, but some people have said before, like, Robin, I don't think she likes me. Like, you're not the only person who has said this, but it seems like very early on you got that indication. So you gave a couple of examples, but has that continued? Do you still feel like she's sort of boxing you in? She's got you like a stereotype of you and who you are, and she's locked into that?
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, but you know what? It is what it is. Not everybody's going to like you, and so we'll move forward and see what happens.
Just say it. You think she's anti-Semitic. Just get it out there.
Ronnie.
Or deny it.
Or deny it. Yeah, say something. Jesus, that was a joke.
Ronnie.
Don't leave me hanging.
You've been accused of...
I'm always accused of something.
Well, you've been accused of not exactly being truthful with this zero stuff. Like you said, it doesn't bother you, but you're yelling and cursing and fighting and
because I don't like being used. I was used. I was used by these guys from this app company.
Ronnie, when you say you were used, I got to ask you a question. Do you think that they came here and targeted you, or do you think that it didn't work for you and they went with it?
No, I think they targeted me.
You think they said, we're going to give Ronnie a zero?
Because I explained it on the air.
But why not JD?
Right. Why not me?
Because they know it's
By the way, can I say
because
something?
they know with me it blows up into a whole big that I carry on.
So
I
you're
get
saying
mad.
so you're saying they can get more attention
Out of
picking
me.
on you
Yeah,
than on
exactly.
anybody else here?
Then JD, yeah.
Hold on. Can I say something? No one had even brought up bringing Ronnie in until I ran
Oh, that's
in.
so not true, dude. You
Yes,
know,
it
you knew
is.
that sooner or later they were going to get to me, and I was the last one. I was
you
the
weren't
last
the
one
last
to be.
one.
No, I was
They
the
did
last
like Richard
one.
and Sal and John Hine out in the bullpen.
I was the last one to be brought in studio.
The
Yeah,
Well, they
Lieberman
saved
came
the
in.
best
the
for last.
lead in our news story today is that Ronnie truly believes A, that it was choreographed just for him, and B, that he has more impact than anyone
Why
else
w-
on the staff.
I didn't say I had more impact. I said
That's what you said
you
in the
did,
studio
Ron-
today.
Ron-
because it blows up into a whole
See?
thing.
Ronnie, is there anybody else, in your opinion, that could get as much impact as you in
As
a
far as
situation like
blowing
this?
up like that?
Yes.
No.
Are we talking Twitter or are we talking just overall?
No, on air.
You mean getting like they felt
It went
you
from-
would be the most
Gary,
to
it
get
went
the
from
most
the show
upset.
to the wrap-up show. It went all morning was all about zero,
But Ronnie,
zero, and then went to the wrap-up show.
If JD was a zero, if John Lieberman was a zero, quite honestly, if I was a zero,
Don't you
No, hold
get
on. The
it?
same thing
That
would have
it-
happened. It would have gone on all day.
Wait,
You're-
Ronnie, you're saying no one else.
I think we're saying the same thing. You're saying if Gary got a 0, that wouldn't have the same impact than you getting a 0.
Probably Gary, yeah.
Wait, it's
you
even
just
bigger
said-
than that. Ronnie's
Yeah,
saying
but they're
no
not
one
gonna
else could
do
have.
it to Gary because Gary's the producer of the show.
But in a
Just like
way,
they're not going to zero Howard.
What about Benji?
Benji, because Benji just he lets everything ride off him.
Ronnie, you're saying no one else could have more impact, but you don't have the most impact?
Maybe I'm crazy because
Oh, well.
I'm crazy. I'm crazy and I'm ugly. I told you that on the show. I'm crazy and I'm ugly.
Gary, did you
Okay?
calculate
So-
bringing in Ronnie last? Was that the plan all along?
I didn't calculate bringing in anybody. Howard said when we went in there, it was such a loose segment. Howard said, "I'll just call people in as I feel like it."
Yeah,
This
Teddy
part wasn't
Leffler
on the
you want,
script.
okay? Be my guest.
On Wednesday's wrap-up show, Mike Ganji stopped by, which is always a thrill. And we talked to him about Miss Howard TV of the Year and how he's going to make his move eventually. And then, since Ganji was here, it led into discussion about the Ugly Meter app. And Ronnie and John both tried to defend themselves, Lieberman that is, on their numbers. And Ganji didn't believe that Lieberman was truly thinking he was an 18. And Ronnie also noted how feminine he looked and how all the other guys looked here. So it was a fun wrap-up show.
We shift gears over to Miss Howard TV of the Year, and two gentlemen who are very close to it now joining us on the wrap-up show. That would be Ronnie Munn and Mike Ganji. And Ganji, I heard you're a very big fan of our winner today.
I am a fan of hers. I think she's probably one of the best looking ones from last year. Though I like them all, but I do think she's one of the best looking ones.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what got whispered in my ear. Chris Costa almost always produces this segment,
Yes.
but today you did.
He has a doctor's appointment. He's the one who opted out. It was all him. I swear to God.
right. Yeah, sure.
I had nothing to do with it.
Ganji, come on now.
I swear to God.
Yeah, right. Give
Chris
me a
has already
break.
left.
So was there no one else to pass it off to?
No, because then I have to teach somebody, and it's like it's a quick, easy thing.
I gotta teach somebody.
Well, we
Chris,
appreciate.
I
Chris
can
does
do it.
Look, Chris does it every
Hold
time.
on a second. We're on 3 days a week. You couldn't tell Chris to make a different doctor's appointment date?
I swear to God, she was booked because of the
Stop
show.
swearing.
It was everything in the schedule. Chris said he's been waiting months to get this appointment. I believe me.
Do you think he did it like
on purpose
as a favor to you?
No,
Well,
absolutely not.
We appreciate the sacrifice that you make, Mike,
Yeah.
for your job, but a lot of times you've been accused of hitting on these girls and trying to make more of what your relationship is.
Right.
Did you keep it professional this time? How did it all go
I
down?
have kept it strictly professional.
Is that hard for you? Because she's a
Yes.
beautiful girl.
Yes, it is very hard.
How
'Cause
long-
they're hot. You want to spend as much time with them as you can. Ronnie, stop.
What's the
I'm not
appropriate?
doing anything.
What's the appropriate?
Call on me, John, please.
I could see you itching, Ron.
What's the appropriate amount of time to wait till you can call her and say, would you like to go out if you wanted
First
to
of all,
do that?
I
she
think as soon as that
lives, she
thing
lives
goes
across
down,
the country.
that clicker.
In California somewhere. So I would never, there's not even a chance I'd see her.
But you go out to LA from time to time.
Yeah, she doesn't live in LA. She lives in like Northern California.
You
So
drive. You
all
drive.
right,
I would drive. But, I would probably, if she ever came to New York, find out, be like, hey, if you come to New York next time,
it
call
did
me
come
and
up on the
hang out.
show, but did you guys all read the notes on her? Like, I don't know if Will
yeah,
did
she's
them or
into
Chris-
girls.
No, there was something on the notes. You didn't guys?
I don't know. I didn't read the notes.
I think she said, yeah, with a bottle of wine, I might fuck Angie.
Is that in the notes?
If he gave me a bottle of wine.
I heard it was a
not,
case
not
of
word
wine.
for word, but something like that. Something like that.
Basically, the note
Did you know
said-
that in the notes?
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Basically, the note said...
Did you write that note?
No. No, I didn't. She would go out with me. She thinks I'm a nice guy. She would go out with me with a bottle of wine or something like that.
But she
yeah.
said for a bottle of wine, I'd hook up with Gange.
All right,
Yeah.
now I'm glad you're here, Gange, but Ronnie's here, and now we're going to get the truth about what's going on. Ronnie, what's the deal?
So Ganji is infatuated with this girl totally. We were in Vegas, okay, and it wasn't a professional thing then because she was doing a radio show with me that had nothing to do with Ganji. He wouldn't leave her side the whole time before we went on the air. He stood there and talked to her for like an hour and just didn't shut up. Nothing about business. It was all about, what are you up to? What have you been doing? It's too bad we can't go out, all this kind of stuff.
Do you blame him?
No, not at all. Not at all.
We're in Vegas and she's a hot chick.
Right,
Duh.
right. But she was supposed to come to dinner with us one night, and she didn't show up, and Ganji was very disappointed.
Oh, stop. I was
Very
not disappointed.
disappointed.
I didn't even think about it.
So you were
no.
working her. Did you think you had a shot?
No.
Why?
I don't think so. No, I really honestly think she's into women. I do.
That's why?
That's why you don't have a shot?
Well, then,
Yeah, I don't
no,
think I have a
he
shot at
should
all.
have a shot then because he's every girl's best friend. He's like a woman. It should work out fine for him.
How long is she in town for now? Do you know?
I think until tomorrow.
Are you gonna say, "Hey, you want to go out to dinner"?
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe.
See,
We'll
Ben,
see.
I know.
Do you have reservations?
Yeah, right. I have a place waiting. I have a car waiting for us.
But
no,
Gary,
there's nothing.
that line that you asked Ganji about is a tough one to cross. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're a producer. You're acting professionally.
It's
yet-
not that tough.
Oh, no?
What would you do? How would you do it? What would be your move?
I don't know. My moves are old and rusty. It's been a very long time, so I don't know what my move would have been.
I would assume that, next time she comes to New York, I'll try to figure out a way to hang out.
Yeah, the problem next time's a bad idea.
But how do you make sure? How do you make sure that you don't end up being her friend, showing her around town instead of taking it someplace
I
else?
don't know. That can be a problem. I think you'd try to have to
Is the
work it.
main worry that you don't want to be like unprofessional?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
No,
I don't.
no.
But you're off duty.
Here's the main worry. He calls her up and says, "Hey, want to go out to dinner tonight?" She goes, "Sure." Takes her out to dinner tonight. They have a couple of drinks. He gets her. He plants a kiss on her. She goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And next time she comes on the air, she goes, "That fucking guy. We go out to dinner and he's all over me, and it's all over the radio." That's
Right.
the fear.
That's part of it, sure, but also the unprofessional thing. I don't want to make it seem like I'm hitting on every single. Look, there's a new girl every month. I don't want to make it seem like I'm hitting on 12 girls a month. 12 girls a year.
Tell her I
even though
limit
that I
it
would
to
like
3.
to be.
You're on the top 3, and
Yeah, I'm on the top 3 of the girls that I like. In the month.
Now, Mike, you weren't here for the ugly meter test,
Right.
but you know how you've observed how everyone has reacted to
Yeah.
this. Ronnie insists that he is not bothered by this.
Ronnie
at all.
is such a liar. Okay, so today I got him a shirt for this weekend's comedy gigs in Chicago that said, "I'm a 0." As soon as he saw it, he took it, he hit me with it, and he threw it at me. Now, does that sound like somebody who's not upset with it? I think he's harboring a lot of pent-up rage over this.
I'm right there with Lieberman.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night.
I think he's very upset. I think because he thinks he's better looking than a lot of people here.
I never
He
said.
does.
When did I ever say that?
He's said to
When
me
did I ever say
that-
anything of the sort?
that he thinks that other people are not as
I
good
got a
looking
better
as him.
personality than you. I know that.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
I'm not every girl's best friend. At least
I definitely think
when I hit on a girl, at least I wind up maybe taking him home, Gange.
I think he
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
thinks he's better looking than JD.
Do you think you're better looking than JD?
What is that? What does JD have to do with it?
That's one of the people that I think you're upset about that you lost to.
he lost to everybody.
He lost to everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
but where
I think
does JD come from?
I think that's the one that bothers you the most.
You're out of your mind.
I don't know. I think
You
he's-
really are
'cause
out of
you've
your
been
mind.
riding.
Ronnie,
I gotta tell you,
is
you've
there
been
someone
busting
that
his
of
balls
the guys
so much
everyone
lately.
beat you by that process?
the whole,
Whether you think it's real or not.
According to this, the whole world beat me.
No,
okay?
I know,
So,
but
'Cause you're a zero.
by that
Why-
process-
why would
so
I pick
is
on-
there
why would I
anyone,
pick on,
but of
JD?
that list, is there anyone that you're like, I'm sure I'm better looking than that person?
I don't look at it that way. I don't look at. I'm not looking.
you don't-
at
you don't
guys.
look- you
I'm
don't-
not looking at guys to see if I'm better.
You don't
looking
ever
than
think
them.
about like, hey, I'm definitely better looking than this guy
No,
or that.
no,
you never
I
think
don't.
that.
Do you
No,
think
I
you're
don't.
better? Do you
I
think you're
don't-
better looking than Jay Leno? He was an 11.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All
So
right, so
I
there's
think
one.
Ronnie wants to answer questions about people that don't work here.
No, it's not. I don't look at people here and say, "Oh, well, I'm better looking than
Do you think you're better looking than Lieberman?
Lieberman standing behind me.
Do you think he's better look? Do you think you're better looking?
Probably on the same level.
See, I'll give you an easy one. Do you think you're better looking than Greg Carmel?
No.
See, so there
Somewhere
are
between
easier ones to
Somewhere
answer.
between Leno and
What
Carmel.
about Doug Goodstein? He scored lower than
No,
Howard
he
did.
looks like Andy Panda. I'm better looking than him.
What about me? I don't mind whatever you think. What do you think?
I don't know, Benji. Girls have a
Give me
certain
a nice
thing-
look
girls
and
have
tell me what you think.
No, girls have a certain thing about you with your eyes and shit. So I guess maybe you are.
How do you feel personally?
I don't know. I don't look at guys that way, dude.
Look
I
at
don't-
me and make a decision.
It's
I don't
apples
do
and
that.
oranges, though. I
don't-
mean, you're good looking in an AARP lineup, but other people
Hey,
are
listen,
better
listen,
looking
listen,
in a
listen, Mr.
30s or 40s
M26,
thing.
You know, why don't you admit you dye your hair? At least admit I dye my
I
mustache.
don't dye my hair.
Oh, you do.
I swear on my
everybody
son, I
knows
don't
it.
dye my
There's
hair.
people all over
There's
here.
gray in there,
there's
asshole.
No fucking
All right,
gray in
you two
there.
kids, stop.
There's no gray in there.
Ronnie,
There's not one gray hair in there.
Ronnie, last one, then we'll move on. Do you think you're better looking than Howard is?
I don't look at it that way. I don't look
I'm
at it
asking
that
you
way.
to look at it that way.
No, I don't think. I think I'm the same as everybody else.
But you said you're better looking than Leno.
And not as good looking as Greg Carmel.
Well, Greg Carmel is in a class of his own with Will. Okay.
Oh, you put Will in that class also?
Yeah.
I'm in that class.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm in the hot class of the show.
I know for a fact that the interns swarm all over Will. They talk about him, how hot he is. You know, maybe not the interns now, but the former interns. I've heard them talk about Will. They've had crushes on Will. You know, and you know
that's all.
And Quivers isn't totally in love with Carmel. You know, so. Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't look at guys in that way, dude. I'm not going to look at a guy and say,
All right.
I think you're handsome.
All right.
I don't look at it that way.
You answered the question. You're right. I've seen that firsthand with Will, although he is getting older these days. Mike in New York, you're on the wrap-up show.
Ganji's too much, man. I mean, you guys are all good guys, so I'm not gonna bash him. But Ganji, every girl, it's once a month with you. You want some sound advice? Don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. Just keep it on the DL, ask her out, and don't broadcast it because you just ruined it if you really like her.
Well, I'm blaming it on Ronnie because he goes around telling everything.
Where do we? Oh, yeah.
Ronnie's a lot older than you guys. You guys shouldn't be. It's funny that you even put in a poll. He's a lot older. When he was younger, you should pose the question when he was everyone else's age. You know, you guys bash Ronnie. Oh, you think you're better looking? He's got to be 60 years old, late 50s.
No, 65, 70.
I don't know, maybe Mike, maybe Ronnie's cultivated his look over time. I mean, I'm sure he was a handsome guy when he was younger, and now he's.
What the fuck is your problem?
I'm complimenting you.
What do you mean? What happened? It all died now?
No, I'm saying maybe you've reformed your look a little bit. You know, you care more about your appearance.
It's always been my look, man.
You always look that way?
Yeah, well, I always look that way. Except
first grader.
I used to have a mullet before. Okay, no, I don't have the mullet.
I'd love to
and
see
an
that.
afro. And an afro.
I'm going to pose this question actually to Gary and Ganji, but Ganji, you first. When something like this comes up, and yes, Ronnie got a 0 and John got an 18 and other people got scores that they didn't like and get your balls busted and Howard's goofing on you, a part of you hates it, but there's got to be a part of you that sort of likes the spotlight being on you. How do you deal with that? And Gary, you too.
You know what? I only dislike certain parts of it. Yes, it's a great show. It's part of the entertainment of the show. I get it. And I get that, everybody has to get their balls busted at one point. It's when, you claim you don't like it and you're really kind of against it like John is with this 18. I think John's totally either he's really pissed at this 18 or he's totally playing it up in order to get more attention.
I don't think he's playing it up.
I don't think so either.
I used to like the attention when I first got on the show. You could say anything you wanted, but I was thrilled Howard was talking about me on the radio. It was fun. But then as you get older and more mature and you become in charge of stuff, it's sort of, there's nothing worse than taking an emasculating ass kicking and walking back into the office and the interns have their eyes averted because it was so fucking embarrassing.
John,
I'll tell you the truth, Ganji, and Shuli, I think, will back me up in the newsroom. What I like about my job is I like to be able to go in studio, light the match, and then just step back and watch everything. I really don't like to be the center of attention. And
you didn't run fast enough when you lit the match on this one.
Yeah, exactly. You've been running in every time that your name comes up with this 18. Well, you've been running in there.
But I've been letting him.
Gary, no. To be fair, Gary has told me to go in. I don't hover around and say, Gary, can I go in? Can I go in?
Here's what happened today.
Don't pull that microphone out of my face.
Here's what happened today. It was really funny. Howard started talking about John Lieberman. He was waiting outside my office as he does every morning because he's doing news. And John started talking to nobody. That's great. Moving guitars and everything. And I said you should go in because it was very real. He wasn't acting mad. He was mad.
And I just want to say the stuff you're hearing on the air is just the stuff you're hearing on the air. There's a whole. John is back there screaming about this since it happened. I mean, he's not happy about it.
John, has it
who
made
would be
you
happy? You got an 18.
Has it made you question yourself at all? Like, hey, maybe I'm not as good looking as I thought I was.
Question myself? I mean, yeah, I'm sure a little bit. I mean, we're all insecure in a little way.
Well, John, I am sure Robin choosing JD over you again has to have you questioning.
Well, she went with youth.
John, you're very feminine and admitted, you know.
I don't even know what does that mean?
Ronnie, I thought you didn't
What
judge
does
guys that
mean?
way.
I mean, you're wearing a purple tie. Come on.
You wear purple shirts I'm not even going there. You wear purple shirts all the time.
Yeah, but just
What are
on
you talking about feminine?
On you, it just looks really odd.
Yeah, you do. You look really odd today, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
On you, it doesn't come across.
Are
as,
you kidding me?
No.
Are you kidding me?
You look like you should be on a Bravo show.
It's been all the talk around the office this morning, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the playground in 5th grade.
This is like romper room for grown-ups.
John, what were you going to say, though?
Yeah, please do.
Well, now I got sidetracked. I was just going to say, I mean, am I questioning my looks? I'm not questioning my looks, but look, it hit a button with me. I'm not putting it on. I'm just telling you, I'm not putting it on. I'm an excitable guy, for better or for worse, and I don't have a good poker face, so...
You don't have a good face at all.
Jennifer, just so you know, you're not going to sleep again tonight. Now he's a little feminine today.
Has your girlfriend tried to, like, convince you otherwise? Like, hey, you're not. Those guys are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she says all the app's bullshit and all that. She's been very good.
Did you try? Did you download?
I can't even believe
and
we're
then she
still
goes in the bathroom and cries.
John, did you download?
Ronnie, you want to go there?
Where am I going?
Ronnie, do you think she's going around trying to find better looking guys that she can marry with the app?
John, where do you think he's going?
Yeah, where are we going,
Where am I
John?
going?
This sounds
Yeah,
like a road we
where
want
am
to
I
be
going,
on.
John?
We only have 2 minutes, so hurry up.
Ronnie's just pushing buttons.
Well, hey, where do you work, man? You're not working America's Most Wanted anymore.
Well, pretty much. There are very few differences, believe me.
You're in the pool of alligators now.
Now, I want to know if anybody, not just anybody here that you may know of, actually got the app and tried it again. I know Benji got retested on the air.
Wait a minute.
67.
Tell him about Charlie Hess, a really good-looking guy.
One of the guys on the Howard TV staff who's like a decent-looking guy.
I thought you didn't look at guys that way.
Yeah, but Charlie, come on.
Oh, sorry. Charlie's the exception.
Is Charlie a Greg Carmel or better?
Like he's in the same class.
Body-wise, too?
Charlie got a 3.
Yeah.
A 3.
Charlie got a 3.
A 3.
A 3?
Yeah.
Charlie has a really thick beard.
Yeah.
I wonder if that plays.
I thought
yeah.
Ronnie's might throw it off, like, just the depth, like, in and out of it.
See, a 3 is worse than a 0. I would argue.
Yeah.
A 0 clearly shows there's a problem with the app. A 3 is you registered, you just registered.
So like an 18's worse than a 0.
Yeah.
That's why I said to Howard today. I view an 18 as worse than a 0.
It doesn't matter, John. You're still very feminine today.